Hey, John Tighe here, author of Crush It with Kindle, and I'm here with my friend Tom Corson-Knowles. Tom, are you there?
Yeah, it's great to be here, John. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for setting this up, and thanks for the upcoming presentation. So, first things first, I know we've got a few people on already. Let's just do a sound check. Type in a one if you can hear me, and type in a two if you can hear Tom. Tom, if you just say something for us again.
Hey, everyone. I'm excited to share with you today how to crack the code to becoming a #1 best-selling author on Amazon, and excited to share some new stuff that we've been working on that I think you're going to love.
Okay, we got a one and two from Ramiro. Thank you, Ramiro. Zara's one and two from NA. Not so somebody put N, not applicable in. Roger, one and two. Good. So obviously coming through loud and clear. And Tom's got his first slide up, and so you should be able to see the slide with the title of the webinar, how to crack the code, etc. So again, type in a three if you can see that. Just let us know that you can see that. Okay. Zara, Roger, Ramiro, NA, all good. Right. So Tom, again, thanks for coming on board. And where are we? We've just gone past the hour, haven't we? So are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
Okay, so let me intro Tom, and then what I'll do is I'll mute myself when you present Tom, but I'll keep an eye on the chat. So Tom is a friend of mine. We've known each other personally for probably just over 2 years now, but Tom was one of the very first people that I studied when I began doing Kindle publishing for myself back in September 2012. So Tom is actually we were talking about this before the show. Tom is one of the few people who's actually been teaching Kindle publishing longer than I have. So it's always good to have him here to share some of his cutting edge stuff. And he's got a really successful publishing company, so gets to test a lot of things. So I'll give you Tom's quick bio and then I'll hand you across. So Tom Corson-Knowles is the international best-selling author of 27 books, including the Kindle Publishing Bible. He's the founder of TCK Publishing, which is a publishing house I just mentioned, an independent publishing company specializing in digital marketing. And he's also the host of the Publishing Profits podcast show. Tom's taught more than 60,000 authors, how to write, publish, and market their books like professionals through his online courses, including ebook publishing school, which is a free training program that shows authors how to publish and launch their first book. So looking forward to what you've got to share with us, Tom. I will hand over to you now and let you run with this.
Awesome. Thank you, John, for inviting me here. And thanks to everyone for showing up today to learn how to crack the
Cheers,
code to
Tom.
become a #1 best-selling author on Amazon. So want to let you know, I'm just recovering from a really bad cold this weekend. And so I might have to stop from here and there to kind of clear my throat. But I'm going to do my best to stick with you and give you all the awesome content I can today. And so my promise to you today is I want to teach you how Amazon bestseller rankings work. And I'm going to show you how to find the very best Amazon bestseller categories for your particular book, for your niche or your subgenre to target your ideal readers. So you get the best folks buying your books who are going to become your raving fan customers, who are going to help spread more word of mouth and get you more sales. It's really, really crucial that you actually, when you launch a book on Amazon, that you get your ideal readers to buy the book. And we'll talk a little bit more about why that is. And I'm also going to show you how to calculate exactly how many sales you need to get to #1 bestseller status in any category on Amazon. We built some amazing software tools that do all the hard work for you, and you're going to love that. And I'm actually going to show you how to do that for free as well. So I've got a special free tool that you're going to love. And I'm also going to show you how to systematize this entire process to save you a massive amount of time so that you can do everything you need to do to find the best bestseller categories for your book in 5 minutes. So all the best bestseller categories for your book on Amazon in the US and the UK and any other country you want in just 5 minutes. So if that's why you're here, please go ahead and type in the chat box if this is what you came here to learn tonight, because this is what I'm really excited about sharing with all of you. Now, I want to let you know, I love teaching and I've got a ton of information to share tonight. And at the very end of today's training, you'll have an opportunity to learn about some of our advanced tools and training courses for authors and publishers. But first, I'm going to thoroughly and completely deliver on my promise to you to show you exactly how to get your books to #1 bestseller status on Amazon. And so I want to make sure you're prepared and that you can stay focused throughout this presentation so you can learn as much as possible. So #1, make sure you take good notes. So if you don't have a notebook yet, please go ahead and grab a pen, paper, notebook, iPad, whatever you use to take notes, because I'm going to share a ton of great information with you today. And make sure you also turn off any distractions, so cell phones, TV, background noise, close the door if you need to, so you can really stay focused. And please know that I talk really fast, and I apologize in advance, but it's just kind of the way it is. And that combined with my cold, it might be a little bit hard to understand me. So if I say anything you don't understand or you get lost, just go ahead and let me know by typing your question in the questions box, and I'll make sure at the end to answer every single question you guys have and make sure you have all the information you need to succeed. And any questions you have, just go ahead and type them in and ask them as they come up, so you're not thinking about them the whole time. And that way you can, again, just stay more focused, and I'll answer all of your questions at the end of the presentation tonight. So my question is, do you want advanced training? So John said you guys love getting actionable insights and new book marketing ideas. And I want to make sure that's true, because I've kind of got two versions of this presentation. So the one is just really short and sweet, straight to the point. And the other one is a little bit longer and more thorough, where I'll kind of go off the cuff and share some more advanced book marketing ideas as they come up and as they apply to the books and the genres that you share with me tonight. So if you want the short and sweet presentation, just please go ahead and type in short and sweet. And if you want the advanced marketing strategies, go ahead and type in advanced marketing strategies in the questions box, and I'll make sure to tailor the presentation to what you guys are actually looking for today. And by the way, I'm going to give you some free dessert after the Feast of Information today. So for those of you who stick with us until the end of the presentation, you're going to get a special gift. It's a free copy of my book, The Book Marketing Bible, 39 Proven Ways to Build Your Author Platform and Promote Your Books on a Budget. So on the very last slide of the presentation, you'll see the link to download your free copy of that book at the end of the presentation today. So have you published a book yet? I want to get to know you a little bit more. So if you've written a book already, please go ahead and write in the questions box what your book is about. And be as specific as possible with either your niche or your subgenre. So don't just say I write romance novels. If you could say like I write vampire historical romance novels, like the more specific you can be, the more I'll actually be able to tailor this presentation to you and to help you as much as possible get better results with your marketing. And if you haven't written a book yet, what would you like to write about? If you could write a book on any topic, any genre, any market, what would your book be about? So while you're sharing your story with me, and I'm reading through your questions and comments here, I want to just share my story with you really quick. So this is a picture of me 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. Man, time flies. And I was 19. I was a college student. And I was broke, but I loved to read. Like my passion was reading. I loved to learn. I loved to read. I didn't like school very much, but I sure loved to read books. And I had this dream because, I always wanted to share knowledge. I wanted to teach. I wanted to be a teacher, right? And in business school, all my classmates, their dream was to go to Wall Street and become investment bankers and work 100 hours a week in a cubicle. And I just thought that seemed like a nightmare. Their dreams seemed like a nightmare to me. And so because I was reading all these books and I was looking at these authors' lives, and they seemed to have these amazing lives where they got to do what they love and make a great income and travel the world and do what they really wanted to do with their life. And so I wanted to become a best-selling author. That was my dream from the age of 19. And the problem was I had no idea what I was doing, right? But I wrote down my goal. So 10 years ago, I wrote down this goal was to earn a full-time income doing what I love, reading, writing, and sharing good ideas. And of course, I didn't know what I was doing when I got started. And, I've since learned that no one knows what they're doing when they get started, right? So when anyone starts any kind of new career or a new creative project or starts a business, no one really knows what they're doing, right? They're just taking one step at a time with the faith that things will work out. And so that's what I did. And I failed at traditional publishing, right? My first foray into the publishing world was, I wrote a book. And I tried to pitch my book to agents and publishers, and they wouldn't even respond to my letters or emails or phone calls for 6 years, right? It was a pretty miserable time in my life and very depressing to spend so much time and effort trying to get my book published, and it just didn't work. And so when I self-published my first book in 2012, after 6 years of trying to publish traditionally and just didn't work, I achieved my dreams faster than ever before. It was actually incredible. Within 10 months, I was on the top of the bestseller charts next to Robert Kiyosaki, who was one of my mentors. I mean, his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was like the first personal development book I had read, and it really changed my life in a lot of ways and got me on a different track of thinking about business and life and reading more personal development books as well. I was also next to, Seth Godin, a hugely successful author, Brian Tracy. I've read many of his books as well. So it was really just a great honor and dream come true for me to be next to these amazing people on the bestseller list on Amazon. And I want to let you know that all the strategies and lessons I'm sharing with you tonight are proven and tested. Right? So I've taught over 60,000 students online, And I've published 27 books that I wrote myself. And also through the publishing company that I own, Tighe Publishing, we've published over 400 books and over 300 #1 best-selling books on Amazon.com and all the major fiction and nonfiction markets. So my goal tonight is I want to save you 6 years of work and show you how I've used market research and bestseller category analysis to create hundreds of #1 best-selling books on Amazon. And so for a moment, I just want you to imagine your book at #1 on Amazon, right? So you launch your new book, or maybe you've got a book that's already published and you relaunch it, you do a new marketing campaign for it, and you have this new book's #1 on Amazon. So what would you do differently with your life if you were a #1 best-selling author and you're earning a full-time income from royalties, right? How would that change your life? How would that change your day? How would that change your relationships? How would that change your finances? How would that change how you look at your life and what's possible for you? And this is what I was able to achieve. I was able to earn, $10,000 plus per month from my books that I published on Amazon. I was able to never have to worry about getting a job again, to never have to worry about how I was going to pay for my bills again, and to be able to live anywhere I wanted in the world. It was an absolute dream come true for me, and I want the same thing for you. And so our training tonight is going to start with the beginning, right? Choosing the right bestseller lists on Amazon to get your book featured to your ideal readers. And here's the thing, selecting the right bestseller list on Amazon to feature your book in can increase your sales by as much as 173%. And I know this because at our publishing company, we have a lot of clients who were either self-published before or they had a different publisher publish their book before, and they switched over to us. And the very first thing we do is walk them through this process that I'm going to share with you today. And so the first thing we do is we switch their bestseller list to the ones that make the most sense for their book and for their demographic. And what we noticed is that some of those book sales just shot up overnight just because we changed the categories to the right categories on Amazon where their ideal readers were browsing and were much more likely to actually click on their books and buy them. So selecting the right bestseller list can make a big, big difference for your book. And so I want to teach you exactly how Amazon sales rankings work and how their bestseller lists work. So this slide starts with the most basic stuff. Some of you might already know this, but I want to make sure that whether you're brand new or you've been an author for 5 years, you can follow along every step of this presentation so that everyone's on the same page. And then we'll work on the advanced marketing strategies. So first of all, every single book on Amazon has what's called an Amazon bestsellers rank. So #1 is the current best-selling ebook on all of Amazon, or #1 in the bookstore is the #1 best-selling print book or paperback book on all of Amazon. And the number 4.5 million is the worst-selling ebook on all of Amazon. And the sales rankings update every single hour. So what that means is if the #2 book on all of Kindle right now sells more copies in the last hour than the #1 book on Kindle, the two might switch place. The #1 book becomes #2 and vice versa. Right, so the rankings are all relative based on how sales are doing every single hour. And so here's an example of exactly what this looks like when you look at a book page on Amazon. So when you go to any books page on Amazon for the Kindle version of their book, and you scroll down, you'll see what this product details section right here. Now, it works the same way for print books and for audiobooks too, but we're going to focus on Kindle ebooks right now because it's just easier for you to follow along that way. So here is the Amazon bestsellers rank. And for this book, it's one of our clients' books, number 1060 paid in the Kindle store. And then here it will tell you #1 in books, memory improvement. So books is for physical books, so like print books, paperback books, hardcover books, those kinds of books. And then #1 in Kindle store, and these are for Kindle ebooks, okay? So just so you know, so a number 1060 ranking in the Kindle store means you need to sell consistently 2,650 ebook sales per month. And this book has been ranking around this rate for 2 years now. So it's sold over 60,000 copies and is doing really, really well. So for tonight, we're going to focus on the Kindle ebook rankings for all of our demonstrations, but this exact same process works for all books as well, and all of our software works for physical books as well. So print books, paperback books, hardcover books, this exact same process works for it all. But I know most of you are probably focusing on ebooks, or most of you have ebooks first. But again, you can use this exact same process for ebooks and print books and even audiobooks as well. So the way you know that it's an ebook we're talking about and the Kindle store rankings we're talking about, because they start with this Kindle store and then Kindle ebooks section right here for the categories, whereas the physical book categories start with books, right? So this is a physical book category right here, and this is a Kindle store category right here. And so one quick tip you really want to make sure you understand is you want to choose 2 child categories and 2 different parent categories. So when you select your categories on Amazon, when you publish a book for an ebook or a print book, you're able to select 2 different categories. Okay, and so the child category is the one you actually choose. So this one's called study skills right here. This one's called education and reference right here. The blue is a child category. So if you've published your book in KDP before in the Kindle Direct Publishing dashboard, then you've already selected child categories because you're not able to actually publish a book on Amazon without going through their process of selecting the categories. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. But so these are the child categories, the actual categories that you choose. And every child category are nested under different parent categories. So this study skills category is listed underneath studying and workbooks. And then the parent category is education and teaching. So the parent category is like the most major category just underneath the Kindle eBooks category. So there's like education and teaching, business and money, romance, mysteries and thriller, those different types of parent categories. And so what happens is if you can choose 2 different child categories underneath 2 different parent categories, you're basically doubling the exposure for your book. So because this book is selling so well, it's ranking in the top 100 for education and teaching, and for business and money, and for education and reference, and for study skills, and for studying and workbooks. So with just these 2 categories selected, it's already ranking in the top 100 spots for 5 different categories. That's 5 different places where readers can find this book and click it and buy it. And a lot of readers are browsing this bestseller list to find the next book that they want to read. So it's really, really important that you get this clear positioning in the exact spots where your ideal readers are looking for these types of books to buy. And so it's super important that you focus on this and you do it right. So it's really just like distribution, right? Think about if you were selling a book in a bookstore, right? And let's say you're selling a historical novel. Well, in the bookstore where it says historical novels, you want to make sure your book is listed in the right place, right? Because if it's listed in cookbooks, no one's going to find it. And so with the advent of Amazon and ebooks and online distribution of books, we now have 28,700 bestseller lists on Amazon, right? So that's like 28,700 different categories in a bookstore. And because there's so many different categories, there are guaranteed to be multiple different categories that could be applicable to your book, no matter what market or genre or niche you're in. And because there's so many to choose from, it's really important you choose the right categories so you get the right distribution in front of your right readers and you get as much distribution and exposure as possible. So it's almost like if you were walking into a bookstore and you saw your book not just in the historical novels shelf, but it was in study skills, it was in studying and workbooks, it was in the education and teaching stack, it was in the business and money stack, it was in the education and reference stack. Right? It's like having your book all over at all these different places in the bookstore. You're a lot more likely to get noticed than just having it stuck in one little corner where no one's actually looking for it. So that's why choosing the right bestseller list on Amazon is so, so important to help you get more exposure and more sales. So what you want to do is make sure you aim for the top 100 rankings in each category you're going for. Because if you can't rank in the top 100 spots in your category, Amazon's not going to give you any exposure, right? And I'll show you exactly how that works in a little bit when we do our live demonstration on Amazon's website. But if you can't rank in the top 100 spots in your category, you have to find another category because you're not getting any exposure at all. So if your book ranks number 101, that category is not helping you get more sales or readers at all, right? So you have to rank in the top 100 spots in order for this strategy to actually work for you to get more sales and more exposure. Now, again, there's over 28,700 bestseller categories on Amazon, so there's a ton to choose from. No matter what market you're in, you're going to have many different categories to choose from. You just have to find the right ones and then pick the best ones for your particular book and your particular market. So there's about 10,400 plus categories in the US for ebooks, 9,600 plus for print books, 200 or so for audiobooks, and then in the UK, there's another about 10,000 or so just in the UK. So for US and international sales, when you log into your Kindle dashboard and you look at your sales report, like the automatic sales report that comes up on your reports page, it's going to look something like this. And by default, it's going to show you like all marketplaces, all formats, all titles in the last 30 days. And so what you should know is that 80 to 85% of your Kindle ebook sales are going to be in English. And that's across hundreds and hundreds of books that we publish and tons of data that we have. 80 to 85% of Kindle ebook sales for English books are going to be sold in the US. right? And about 5 to 10% are going to be sold in the UK, and the rest of the 5 to 10% remaining is going to be in all the different marketplaces. So, Germany and France and Spain and Italy and the Netherlands and Japan and India and so forth, right? And so what that means is, since at least 80 to 85% of your sales are going to come from the US market, no matter where you live, no matter what country you're from, you should focus at least 80 to 85% of your money, time, and effort marketing your book on Amazon.com in the US, because that's where most of your readers are and that's where most of your money is going to come from. So it really makes sense to focus on marketing in the US and focus on getting the right categories, the right distribution for your book in the US, and then work on UK, and then you can work on other countries from there if it makes sense to do so. But if you're only selling like one copy a month in Spain, it probably doesn't make sense to go through this process, because you don't have enough exposure there for the extra distribution to really make much of a difference for you. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the 5-step system to becoming a #1 bestseller. So number 1 is you're going to find the most relevant bestseller categories for your book. Number 2 is you're going to analyze the competition. Number 3 is you're going to calculate exactly how many sales you need to hit #1 in each category you're aiming for. So that way you know if you're actually going to rank in the top 100 spots and if you can actually get distribution. And number 4 is you're going to choose your 2 target categories you're going to rank for first. And then number 5 is you're going to get Amazon to put your book in those categories. So the first step, finding relevant bestseller categories on Amazon, you're going to want to save this link on the screen right here. It's tckpublishing.com/Amazon categories. And you don't need to go there right now. You should definitely stay focused and pay attention. But save this link for later. So after this presentation, you can go through this process, and everything I'm teaching you tonight, you can actually work on right away. And this goes directly to Amazon's Kindle Store bestseller rankings page. So you can see where all the different categories are laid out on Amazon's website. Now, step 2 is you're going to analyze the competition. So this is where most authors completely skip this step, and that's why they fail, right? That's why they don't make much sales. That's why they don't get many reviews. That's why they don't get a lot of emails from readers or much results at all from their book. Because if you don't understand the market for your book, then it's going to be very hard for you to stand out from the competition, right? You've probably heard that, maybe the Kindle market is saturated or it's very competitive or so forth. And I don't really think that's true in the sense that it's definitely not saturated, but it is true that there's a lot of competition. And that's actually a good thing, because a competitive market means it's a very profitable market, right? And we're talking, ebook sales in the US over $6 billion a year just for ebook sales in the US alone. And worldwide, we're talking about an $80 billion market for ebook, print, and audiobook sales for fiction and nonfiction all over the world. So $80 billion a year market, it's really huge. So if you're going to be going to this very huge market that is competitive, you can be very, very successful, but you have to do some research, right? You have to actually understand what's going on in this market so you can be successful, right? If you don't do any research and just upload a file to Amazon and hope you're going to be successful, it's probably not going to work out for you, right? So that's why analyzing the competition is so, so important. So a couple things you want to know about your market is it long-term or short-term? A big mistake I made early on in my career was I wrote a bunch of books in short-term markets. And I wrote books about Facebook marketing and Twitter marketing and Quora and different technology sites and services. And there's a lot of problems with those books, but mainly the biggest problem is they're just short-term markets, right? Versus a long-term market. A long-term market would be something like pretty much any novel that has long-term appeal. So, romance, mystery, thriller, sci-fi, etc. Those are going to be long-term markets. Any kind of nonfiction book that, again, has long-term appeal. So, things like self-help, personal development, cookbooks, if they're really well done and they're not just fad-based, like, low carb or low fat, that kind of thing. So anything that has long-term appeal that people are going to buy 5 years, 10 years, 50 years from now is a long-term market. And one really cool thing about being an author that a lot of folks don't understand is that in the US, at least, you own the copyright for your work for 75 years plus after you die. And what that means is you're basically guaranteed distribution as long as Amazon or other retailers exist. You're guaranteed distribution of sales for your books for 75 years after you die. It means you can pass your books on to your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, and they can still be earning royalties from your books if, and that is a big if you publish books in a long-term market where there's actually demand for your books, and you actually write a good book that has good reviews that people actually want to read, right? So if you do those things, then you can earn money from your book for not just the next year or two, but for the next 75 years and more, right? So it's a huge opportunity. But in my experience, focusing on short-term books, technology-based books and so forth, it's not a very good strategy because it doesn't really work that well. And so, for example, like the Facebook book, I've updated that like 10 times now, and it's still out of date because Facebook is constantly updating things. They're constantly making changes. And so in order for me to keep that book up to date, it's like a full-time job just to keep one book up to date, right? So instead, I could be focusing on writing books in long-term markets where I don't have to do so many frequent updates and where there's much more demand long-term for those books. So the marketing, the distribution, the time I spend going through this research process is going to get me a much bigger return. I'm going to earn a lot more money for it with basically the same amount of work, or actually even less work. So it really makes sense to focus on long-term markets. And other things you really want to know is like, what are the reader demographics? So who are the ideal readers for books like yours? How old are they? How young are they? What is their age range? Is it like 35 to 45-year-old women? Is it mostly male? Where do they live? What kind of jobs do they have? What kind of products do they buy? What kind of other books do they buy and read? Right? The more you know about your readers, the better equipped you're going to be to actually get the right distribution for your readers so that your book is actually in front of your readers. And the more likely you are to have the right title and cover and book description and all the marketing materials you need to actually get those readers to say, yes, I want to buy that book, and actually buy your book. So it's really crucial you understand who is your target reader, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as I walk you through the live demonstrations. So now step 3, once you've found the relevant bestseller categories for your book and you've analyzed the competition, now it's time to calculate exactly how many sales you need to hit number 1 in the categories that you've found. So here's the link for my free tool you can use. It's tckpublishing.com/calculator, and it's our free Amazon book sales calculator tool. It'll tell you exactly how many sales you need to hit number 1 in any category on Amazon. It's pretty awesome. I'll show you how to use it in a little bit. Now, step 4 is you're going to choose 2 target categories for your book. Remember, you want to aim for the top 100 spots for every category, because if you're not top 100 spots, you're not getting exposure. And ideally, what you want to do is you want to aim to rank number 1 for one category and top 20 for another. Because just like Google search results, if you're on the front page, you're going to get the most clicks. And so the front page for category ranking results on Amazon is the first 20 books. So if you're in the first 20 books, that means your front page on your Amazon in your category, and you're going to get the most clicks and the most sales by being on the front page. Now, step 5 is you're going to get Amazon to list your book in your ideal target categories. And the easiest, best way to do this by far is to just go and log into your KDP dashboard, or you can use the CreateSpace contact form as well if you publish books through CreateSpace. Either way, it doesn't matter. As long as you contact Amazon support, you say, hey, dear Amazon, please change the category of my book to, and you're just going to copy and paste the exact category listing as it appears in the Kindle store product details section, or as it appears in our software that we have that does all this for you. So that's the 5-step process. And there's a couple of problems and challenges you should know about, so that if you're trying to do this process on your own, you don't kind of figure out why it's not working. So number 1 is Amazon displays BISAC categories on the website, but inside the KDP dashboard, they use their own in-house category system, which is not the same at all. So basically, where readers are browsing books on Amazon's website are the BISAC industry standard categories for books. But when you publish your book in the KDP dashboard, Amazon has their own listing of in-house categories, and they're not the same. And that means sometimes you might pick a category that says like psychological thriller, and you look on Amazon's website and you see a category that's like medical thriller, something completely different. It's not the same. And that's because the categories don't match up. So that's why what you want to do is you want to research the actual BISAC categories exactly as they appear on Amazon's website, because those are the categories your customers are actually reading, right? Those are the actual names of like the bookshelves where readers are looking through those books on Amazon's bookstore. Right, so you want to make sure that the names match up correctly so your readers can actually find your book where you intend them to actually find your book. Now, here's the thing. Less than half of all the Kindle categories are actually available inside your KDP account, less than half of them. And that's, again, because the databases don't match up 100%. So, again, there's 28,700 categories on Amazon's website right now where readers can find books. And there's less than half of those, like 10,000 some, are actually available in your KDP account. So you just can't find most of the categories in your KDP account. So I don't recommend you even bother with that process. I recommend you either go through directly on Amazon's website or using our software so you can find the exact categories where your readers are browsing. The other things to know is that Amazon is constantly changing the names, the locations, and the hierarchies of their bestseller lists frequently to match industry standards and to make sure that readers can find the best books easily. And so because they're changing the names a lot, if you have a book that was published 6 months ago or a year ago, the categories you selected might be completely out of date. So you need to update this stuff regularly. The other thing is that Amazon adds new bestseller lists every single month. So some months they only add like a dozen or so. Some months they add several hundred new bestseller lists. So if you're in a category like romance, for example, a year ago there was only like 50 different romance categories for Kindle books. Now there's over 110. Right? So there's a lot more categories to choose from in romance. So if you're in one of those markets where they're adding lots of new categories, it really makes sense for you to be constantly researching this stuff because you can get better distribution and more distribution in front of your ideal readers. And so what this means for you is that at a minimum, you should be researching Amazon's bestseller list every 3 months on the Amazon.com website. And professional savvy publishers are constantly researching the bestseller list and analyzing best-selling books. So every self-published indie author that I know who's earning 6 figures or more each year in royalties, they are all constantly looking at the bestseller list on Amazon to take a look at the competition, right? To analyze the competition, which we can talk about in even more detail. To take a look at what their competitors are doing, to take a look at what their readers are saying, to take a look at what's actually going on in the market so that you can better position your books in front of your ideal readers and to get your ideal readers to say yes and actually click the buy button and buy your books. So now is the part of the presentation where I'm actually going to walk you through exactly how to use this whole 5-step process live on Amazon's website. So please post a comment in the questions box and telling us as specifically as possible exactly what niche, what market, or what subgenre you publish books in. And I'm actually going to do research live for you on the screen right now based on the markets or niches that you guys choose and type out. So again, be as specific as possible. The more specific you are, the more likely I am to actually pick your niche or your subgenre so I can actually walk you through exactly how to go through this process for your book. Okay, so we're going to hop over to the Amazon bestseller list here. And again, the link is just tckpublishing.com/Amazon categories if you want to go to this exact same page as well and do more research on your own later on. Okay, so here we are on the Amazon bestseller list. Excuse me. And the listing here on the left is the Kindle ebooks. And then under here are all the different parent categories. So like arts and photography, biographies and memoirs, business and money. These are all the different parent categories we talked about earlier. And so we're going to go through first, we're going to use a fiction example. We've got someone who has a thriller kidnapping type of book. And so, Janita, we're going to go through the research process for a thriller kidnapping book. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find relevant categories for your book. And so if you go through a lot of different parent categories, there is a mystery, thriller, and suspense category. Now, one quick note I want to make about if you write fiction is that there are mystery, thriller, and suspense categories listed under all the different fiction categories. So there are mystery, thriller, and suspense categories that you will only find in the romance section, in the science fiction fantasy section, in the teen and young adult section, and then any other fiction parent categories you find. So even though you're obviously publishing a thriller, do check the other categories as well, because there are some other categories that are kind of hidden in there that might be relevant for your book. And so the cool thing about software is that it does that automatically for you and just saves you a ton of time. But that is one thing to realize is that, for example, if you're looking for romance, there are romance categories that are listed outside of the romance parent category. So anyways, now that we found this parent category and clicked it, we're going to see the different subcategories underneath. So we're going to click on thrillers now, and we're looking for a kidnapping thriller. And so here are the different subcategories underneath thrillers. And so let's just go with crime for now. And so once we click crime thrillers, you'll see there's no more subcategories underneath us. So that means we found the child category here. So crime thriller is the child category. This is the lowest level category we can find right now for this book. And so this is the actual category that you would select. Okay, so now we found a relevant category for your book called crime thrillers. Let's take a look at the market. So step 2 is going to analyze the competition. And I'm going to go back to that page for a second. And so we're going to analyze the competition. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take a look at all the different titles for the different books. So look at the titles of the book. What are the titles? What's in common themes about the titles? How many words are they? What kind of emotions do they have? How memorable are they, and so forth. Take a look at all the top titles of the best-selling books in your market. And the next thing you want to do is take a look at all the covers. So take a look at all the different cover designs of the top best-selling books in your market and see what you can learn about these book covers, right? And so what you'll notice is, the book covers for crime thrillers look really different from the book covers for a romance novel or a self-help book and so forth. And so you want to look at what makes like a good crime thriller book cover, right? What kind of fonts do they use? What kind of imagery do they use? What kind of text do they use on the cover? Personally, I find like this cover here is just like too much stuff going on. I don't even know all this text I can't read. It just looks a little bit clustered for me, and like I can't really tell what's going on. I don't even know what this book cover is supposed to be about. Is that lightning? Is it a shield? I'm really not sure. Whereas some ones like this one and that one, they're just like a lot more clean and easy to kind of read what's actually going on and to see what's going on. So take a look at the fonts they're using, the colors they're using, the imagery they're using, and take a look at which ones really stand out to you and are most attractive to you. And what you can do then is you can create what I call like a book cover swipe file. So if let's say you love the feeling of this book cover, just kind of looks haunting. The background's a little bit blurry. There's that light back there. There's the dark feeling. It just feels like dark and haunting. And you like that emotional impact of that cover. You can copy the link to this book cover in a swipe file and let your cover designer know, hey, I like the emotional feeling of this cover. It's dark and haunting. I want to model that kind of dark haunting feeling for my book cover. And you could say, hey, I really like this font here. It's just really clean. It's easy to read. Can we model that type of font that's clean and easy to read for the cover, right? And so you can kind of model the different aspects of the best-selling book covers in your market to create a cover that's unique to you, but it's actually branded to your market. And it's much more likely to get your ideal readers to actually click on your book and actually buy your book. Now, after you do that, you want to go through and actually analyze the best-selling books in your market in a little bit more detail. So after you study all the book titles, and the subtitles of the books and the book covers, then what you want to do is look at the book descriptions. So you want to read the top best-selling book descriptions for all the best-selling books in your market and see how they write captivating book descriptions. What do they include? What do they leave out? Which book descriptions make you want to read more of those books and make you more willing to actually buy those books, right? Because a big thing that's going to happen is people are going to click your book if they like your title. You're right. You've got distribution on that crime thrillers page. You've got the exposure. People like your book cover. They like your title. They click it. The first thing they're going to do in a lot of cases is actually read your book description. If your book description is boring, they might click away and not buy your book. So it's really important you write a great book description that's actually going to get people to buy your book. And again, an easy way to do that is just model the best-selling book descriptions in your market to see what they're doing that's working and kind of model that for your book and your story. Then you want to go ahead and scroll down to the product details section. And again, here's where you can see the Amazon bestsellers rank. This one is number 11 paid in the Kindle store. And you'll see it's number 1 in these different books categories, which is for print books, paperback books. And it's not showing the Kindle books categories right now because it only shows the top 3 categories right here. But if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see the different books categories and Kindle store categories that it's listed in. But anyways, so those are the categories it's number 1 in right there in the Amazon bestsellers rank. And then another thing you want to do to analyze the competition, and this is pure gold if you do this, is you want to read all the customer reviews. So you want to go through all the best-selling books in your genre and your niche, and you want to read all the reviews from 5-star to 1-star reviews, and have a notebook with you and jot down all the common things readers love about the best-selling books in your market, and then write down all the common complaints, the things that readers hate about the best-selling books in your market. And if you do that, you'll learn so much about who your ideal readers are and what they really want. It'll help you not just become a better writer, because when you write your next book, you can, you can model the things that readers want to see in books like yours and avoid the mistakes that readers don't want. It'll also help you write better book description because you'll see what are the things readers love about these types of books, so you can highlight those aspects of your book in the book description and avoid talking about the things that readers actually don't like, right? So if you go through this process just of reading the reviews in your market, you'll learn so much, you'll be so far ahead of the competition, and you'll be able to not just write better books, to become a better marketer as well and better understand your readers. Okay, now the third step in this process is we're going to calculate exactly how many sales we need to rank #1 in this category. So if you go to that link, tscapepublishing.com/calculator, you'll see this sales rank calculator tool that you can use for free. And so what you're gonna do is you basically just copy and paste this ranking right here. So number 11, Kindle store ranking. So we're gonna copy that bestseller ranking as number 11. Make sure we select ebook or print book if you're doing this for physical books. And you hit calculate monthly sales. This will tell you either how many sales you need per month or how many sales you need in one single day to achieve that ranking on Amazon. So you either need to sell about 53,000 books per month or 3,500 books in a single day to achieve that ranking on Amazon. So, it's totally possible if you get a good BookBub promotion, you can maybe sell 3,500 books in a day, maybe outrank this book. But that's tough to do, right? And so you're going to want to find a category that's easier to rank for in the #1 spot. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But this is how you calculate exactly how many sales you need to hit #1 in any category on Amazon. And then what you want to do after that is you want to select the 2 categories you're going to aim for. So you might want to do a little bit more research here, so you can check out these other book categories here for if you have a print book as well, and see if maybe your book would be a good fit for those book categories. And then you can also go back to this page to look at maybe the assassinations one or conspiracies one or espionage one or terrorism one or psychological page might be a better fit or another relevant category for your book as well. And then once you've gone through that process, you might create a list of like 5 or 10 or 20 different categories that are relevant for your book. Then you're going to choose the top 2 you want to rank for first. And then you're going to send Amazon that email that says, hey, put my book in those categories. So for example, you come down here and copy and paste this category right here and send that email to Amazon that says, hey, Amazon, please add my book to this category. Copy and paste that category right there. And Amazon will change your category immediately within 24 hours to this exact category that you tell them to. So that's the 5-step process in a nutshell. And I'm going to walk you through that process now for a nonfiction book as well. So you can see how it would be done for a nonfiction book too. So we've got someone with a book on meditation. So let's go ahead and go through that. So we're going to go back to the Kindle ebook section. And we're going to look for a parent category that might be relevant to meditation. So let's see, there's religion and spirituality. And there's also self-help. Let's see if one of those has something on meditation. So religion and spirituality. We've got spirituality. We've got, oh, there you go, something on meditations. So here we have this bestseller list, which again, we know it's a child category because once you click it, there's no other subcategories underneath it. It's called Spiritual Meditations in the Kindle store. And so here are the different books in these categories on Amazon. So again, what you want to do is you want to analyze the competition next. So you want to take a look at the titles of all the best-selling books in this market. And then you want to take a look at all the best-selling book covers in this market as well. And again, for the book covers, you want to look at, what are the fonts they're using? What are the imagery they're using? What are the colors they're using? How do the covers make you feel? What is that emotional response they're giving you? And you want to model those aspects of the best-selling book covers in your market that you think make the most sense for your particular book. And it's going to help you stand out from the competition. Again, you can create that swipe file where you're modeling, the best fonts, the best colors, the best imagery, the best feelings, the best emotions, and create that unique cover design for your book that's going to stand out and be branded for your market, for your ideal readers. Okay. Now we're going to click the book and do a little more research here on the competition. And again, you want to read the titles and subtitles. Subtitles are really crucial for nonfiction books because a lot of times the title might not tell you a whole lot about the book, like Reality Unveiled. I don't really know what that means, but the subtitle says the hidden keys of existence that will transform your life. And I still really don't know what that means, but it sounds spiritual, it sounds new agey, right? So it gives you a little bit more detail. And ideally, a good nonfiction subtitle would tell you kind of exactly what the book is about or what benefits you would get from reading that book. But anyways, you want to study those bestsellers in your market and model what's working. And then again, take a look at the book descriptions in your market, model the best-selling book descriptions in your market, and then also scroll down And there's a product details section. We can see the Amazon bestsellers rank, number 3,485 paid in the Kindle store. And these are the categories that it's number 1 in right now on Amazon. And then again, with the customer reviews, highly recommend for nonfiction authors as well, read all the best-selling reviews of the best-selling books in your market from 5-star to 1-star. Have your notebook with you, jot down things readers love about these books, things they hate about these books, model what works, avoid doing what doesn't work, and highlight the aspects of your book that readers talk about in the reviews all the time in your book descriptions, in your marketing copy, and so forth. Okay, so that's step 2, analyze the competition. Now step 3 is we're going to calculate exactly how many sales we need to rank in this category. So we're going to copy and paste that number again right there. We're going to remove that comma, and we're going to make sure we selected the ebook, and we click calculate monthly sales. So in this category, you only need 961 sales per month or 64 sales in 1 day to rank at the number 1 spot in this category on Amazon. So it's much less competitive category than the crime thriller one, and a much easier to rank for. So when we go back to this page, again, you can click through these categories as well, since these are Kindle store categories. So maybe your meditation book might work in the self-help section or in the mysticism category. Like we can click through the mysticism category and see what's in there, and maybe that would be a good category to rank for as well. So here we have a whole different line of books. So spirituality, personal growth, and then there's like motivational and personal success and self-help and spiritual growth. So again, those might all be relevant categories for your book as well. So you kind of want to go through this process, find 5, 10, 20 different categories that are relevant for your book, as many as you can, and then analyze them, see how many sales you need to hit number 1 in these categories, and then choose the best categories for your book. Okay? And then again, step 5 is you're going to just send that email to Amazon that says, hey, Amazon, please add my book to this category. And again, you can just copy and paste those exact category listings right down here. So if you want to be in this meditations category, you can just copy and paste that right there. Send Amazon that email, say, hey, Amazon, please add my book to this category. Okay, now that's the process, the 5-step process, and I'm going to show you how to make it a whole lot faster and a whole lot easier. But I want to do a quick learning check to make sure you're following with everything we've covered so far. So please go ahead and write in the questions box the favorite thing you've learned so far, and let me know if you're going to actually start applying what you've learning. I'm seeing a couple of notes. Thank you so much for this awesome information and all you guys' comments. I really appreciate that very much. Okay, now a question I get a lot is will this actually work for me? So the answer is it works for everyone, right? The system works for everyone because, again, it's just like going to a bookstore and putting your book on the right shelf in front of your target readers. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, it will work for you if you follow the process. So here's a picture on the screen of Mark Messick. He's an international best-selling author of over 11 books now and counting. He's actually 17 years old now. He turned 17 recently. He published his first book at age 14. And last time I talked to him, he's earning several $1,000s a month every single month from book sales on Amazon because this process works, right? If you apply this process, it's going to work for you. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. I've got clients in their 80s who are publishing books and becoming #1 best-selling authors and earning amazing incomes on Amazon because they're following this process, right? So this works for anyone at any age. And this just cracks me up to this day. You know, Mark sent me a screenshot of him outselling Donald Trump on Amazon. And this was taken like before the election. So I think Donald Trump was like the front runner for the Republican Party at the time this screenshot was taken. But it just goes to show you that, you know, a 16-year-old kid, you know, working from his parents' basement can outsell, you know, a billionaire running for president with more media exposure than anyone else in the world because the process works. Because if you're going through this process, you're analyzing the competition, you're putting your book in distribution online in front of your ideal readers, and you're going through that process to read the reviews from your customers to find out exactly what your readers want, there's no way you can fail because you know what your readers want, you know how to get your book in front of them, and so it's really just a question of, are you writing books that are actually worthwhile, that your readers actually want to read? And if you are, and you've got the distribution, then you've got everything you need to be really, really, really successful. All right, now you probably noticed that it took some time, not too long today, because I've been doing this for a long time, going through the Amazon categories to actually find the categories that work. But with 28,000 categories, there's a lot to choose from, and it will probably take you a ton of time. So I want to show you the fastest, easiest, simplest way to go through this process and to make it work for you really, really fast. So I want to show you what Bestseller Ranking Pro can do. So I'm going to fire it up right now and show you exactly how it works. So when you log into Bestseller Ranking Pro, this is our advanced software tool that we've been developing for 3 years now, and we're constantly making improvements. You can see all the different improvements we've made just this year. We made tons and tons of improvements to it. So we're constantly making updates and making it better and better and better. And when you log in, it says it's currently tracking 28,700 bestseller categories, that many for the US ebooks and US physical books and audiobooks and UK ebooks and UK books. And then if we go to this ultimate category finder tool, here's what you can do here is find all the books in your market. So I believe we had someone who had a book on meditation, right? And so if we type in meditation, sorry, my internet's being slow right now. Let me reload this page. Okay, so if you type in meditation and you select US right here, I'm sorry guys, my internet is like not loading this page properly. Okay, if you click search, there we go, it worked now. So now every different category with the word meditation in it is going to show up here. And so there's 16 categories in all of Amazon that has the word meditation in it. And so first what you're going to see here is the actual exact name of the category on Amazon. So health, fitness, and dieting, alternative medicine, and meditation. And it's also hyperlinked. So if you click that link, what it's going to do is going to take you exactly to that Amazon category page right there, where it's going to show you that bestseller page on Amazon. So you can do step 2, that competitive analysis, right? So you can look at all the book covers, the titles. You can take a look at these best-selling books and their book descriptions and so forth with just a click of a button. So you can see all the different categories that have to do with meditation. And then here what you'll see is right here you'll see in the book number 1 ranking. So this is the book that's number 1 in this category right now. You'll see the exact sales rank, which is 22,608. And then when you hover over it, you'll see this little numbers right there. It tells you need 173 sales per month or 12 sales in one 24-hour period to beat this book and be number 1 in this category, right? So if you wanted to be in this category, you'd only need 12 sales in 24 hours when you do your book launch to be number 1 in that category. If you want the 20th spot in that category, top 20, so to be on the front page of this category to get optimal clicks and sales and exposure, you only need 2 sales in 24 hours or 27 sales in a month. And if it's a really competitive category and you don't think you can rank in the top 1 or top 20 spots, you can see what the rankings are to rank in the top 100 spots. So you get at least some exposure. And for this category, it's only 8 sales per month or 1 sale in 24 hours, okay? And then you can also search by competitiveness. So if I click it this way, I'm going to see the most competitive categories at the top. By the way, this category here is like a brand new category, so that's why there's no books in this ranking. And so as Amazon adds new categories, they'll fill them out with more and more books, and then these ranking numbers will fill up here. And then this book here, or this category here, is the most competitive category to do with meditation. So the number 1 book in this category is ranked 75 in the Kindle store. You need 10,600 sales per month or 700 sales in 24 hours. So that's too competitive for you. You can click the other way and see the least competitive categories here. So this one's 170 sales per month or 11 in 24 hours to be number 1 in this category. And so as you scroll down, you'll see the less and less and less competitive categories here. So it's super, super awesome. So you can do the same thing for books in the UK. You can do the same thing for physical books as well. So the ebook rankings and the book rankings are totally different. So if you want to be in the book categories, there's 9 book categories that have to do with meditation. Again, you can organize them by competitiveness, the most competitive, least competitive. So it's really, really cool. And since you have a book on meditation, there's other things that are relevant to meditation that don't necessarily have the word meditation in it. So you might want to also look at like self-help, right? So you can look for self, which would have the word self-help in it. So you can see all the different categories that have to do with the word self, 54. You can also do spirituality, right? So you can look for spiritual and see, and these are the books categories here. You can also do the ebooks categories as well. So you can just really quickly find all the different relevant categories for your ebooks, for your physical books in the US and the UK by just typing in the few of the keywords related to your book. So that's pretty awesome. And then if you write thrillers, we had someone with a thriller as well. So you can take a look at all the different thriller categories on Amazon. So for ebooks, let's see, there's 80 different thriller categories for ebooks. And then for physical books, there are, let's see, 91 different thriller categories for print books, right? So again, you can go through this process, find out exactly how many sales you need to hit number 1, number 20, number 100 spot in any category on Amazon, and it'll tell you exactly what the categories are. So you can just copy and paste these. So if you want to be like in the police procedurals category for your audiobook, you can just copy and paste this category, say, hey, Amazon, please add my book to this category. If you want to be in the spy stories and tales of intrigue thriller category for a Kindle book, copy this category and say, hey, Amazon, please add my Kindle book to this category. So it just makes this whole process so much easier, so much quicker for you to find all the most relevant categories for your book. Okay, so I want to do a quick learning recap again. Make sure you got these 5 steps down, because this is what's going to make you a best-selling author and help you get a lot more sales and exposure for your book right away. So first, we're going to find the relevant bestseller categories for your book. Step 2 is we're going to analyze the competition. Step 3 is we're going to calculate exactly how many sales you need to hit number 1 in your category. Step 4 is we're going to choose the 2 child categories and 2 different parent categories, if possible, that you're going to rank for starting right away. And step 5 is you're going to send Amazon that email to get them to list your book in the new categories you've selected once you've done your research. And so real quick, I want to ask you, have I delivered on my promise to you tonight to show you how to get your book to number 1 bestseller status on Amazon? Please go ahead and type in the questions box if you're happy, if you learned a lot, and yeah, I hope you guys have found a ton of value in this, and I want to show you how you can get started. Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, you delivered. Awesome. Thank you for all the great comments. I really appreciate that. Okay, so let me show you how you can take everything you learned tonight and take it a whole lot further. So obviously there's only so much I can share with you in an hour, but I've got a ton more training, and I've got this amazing tool to share with you I think you're going to love as well. So let me show you how to learn more, how to use Bestseller Ranking Pro right now. So I created Bestseller Ranking Pro to help me grow my publishing business and save me a ton of time, because I was spending hours every single week going through this process, creating spreadsheets for every different genre, every different niche to find the best categories for our clients. And it just took so much time. And what I realized is that every single author and publisher can use this simple tool we developed to get their books number 1 on Amazon a whole lot faster, right? And really what Bestseller Ranking Pro does is it takes the uncertainty out of launching a book, because you're going to know exactly which categories are best for your book, exactly how many books you need to sell to hit number 1 in your categories, and you're going to know exactly how many books your competitors are actually selling. So when you're doing market research and you're saying, hey, I'm considering writing a book on this topic or in this genre, you can see how many copies your competitors are actually selling. So you know if you're in a market where no one's making more than $500 a month, maybe you don't want to publish a book in that market. Whereas if you're in a market where people are making $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month, then maybe that's a bigger market where you actually feel like, yeah, I really want to spend time there and invest the money to marketing a book in that market, because I know the potential to sell books is so much bigger there, right? So it takes all that uncertainty out of launching and writing and publishing a book, because you know if it's going to work before you actually do it. Right, and so what is this worth to you? Well, I know for our business, it's easily worth several $1,000s every single month in royalties, additional royalties we get from having our clients be number 1, having them get that extra distribution, having them get their books in front of their ideal readers, and also just saving us an incredible amount of time. I mean, if I had to hire a full-time employee just to get this data, like not even to do the work, but just to get the data on Amazon, it would cost several $1,000s a month just to get that information, right? So it's incredible the value you're getting with the software. And the system will work for you, right? Here's one of our students, Ann Wolfinger. She's the best-selling author of the HCG Diet Quick Start Cookbook. She said, Bestseller Ranking Pro takes the mystery out of Amazon rankings like nothing else I've seen, and gives authors and publishers a serious edge on the competition. Do yourself a favor and grab it while you can. You'll save yourself a boatload of time and uncertainty, not to mention downright frustration, spent wondering why someone else's book zoomed to the top of the charts on Amazon while yours never got off the ground. David Brinson wrote, hey, I just want to let everyone know my book, Dead South, is now number 1 on Amazon UK's post-apocalyptic bestseller charts after he picked Bestseller Ranking Pro. His categories with Bestseller Ranking Pro. Barry wrote his number 1 in risk management, number 1 in communication management, number 1 in management science, his first day out thanks to Bestseller Ranking Pro. And you can see there his book is ranked 3,482 paid in the Kindle store. So you can actually use that free calculator tool I showed you guys to calculate exactly how many sales he has sold up to that point on the first day of his launch, which is pretty cool. And then we got much more testimonials here. I'm just going to kind of skip that stuff because my throat and voice is really getting sore. I want to make sure you know exactly what you're going to get today if you decide to join Bestseller Ranking Pro. So first of all, It tracks all 28,700 bestseller lists on Amazon and the US and UK for ebooks, print books, and audiobooks. It's constantly updated with new data. We're constantly tracking every single new category Amazon adds every week and every month. It's all organized by competitiveness. So you can see the most competitive categories or the least competitive categories at the click of a button. You have that quick and easy search function. So you don't have to look through 28,700 bestseller lists. You can just look through the ones that are most relevant for your particular book that you're working on right now. It automatically calculates exactly how many sales you need to hit number 1, number 20, number 100 in every single category on Amazon using the world's most accurate Amazon sales rank algorithm model. And it links directly to every single bestseller category page on Amazon, so you can do more research with the click of a button instead of bumbling through Amazon's tens of thousands of categories trying to find the right one, so you can do your market research and so you can actually look at your competitors. So here's what you get when you join Bestseller Ranking Pro today. You're going to get lifetime access to all the Bestseller Ranking Pro tools and all the upgrades we provide as well. You're going to get 30 plus video lessons and step-by-step tutorials that take everything you learned tonight into a whole new level of detail. And I'll talk a whole lot about marketing as well, and how to actually get more traffic and more sales for your books by driving more traffic to Amazon as well, so that you get them to feature your books in that extra distribution even more and even better. And I'm also going to get access to our private members only Facebook group where you can network with other authors in your market. So you can do things like author newsletter swaps. We actually have a free author newsletter swap service. So if you're a crime thriller author and you've got an email list of 1,000 folks, we'll actually introduce you for free to other authors in our network who are crime thriller authors with a similar size email list. So you can do cross promotions and actually grow your business together a whole lot faster. It's a win-win-win for everyone. And it is one of the fastest and easiest and best ways to become number 1 bestseller on Amazon, to sell a ton of books overnight and actually build up your audience a whole lot faster. You're also going to get detailed market analysis and research videos for every niche and genre. So I basically walk you through that step 2, that analyze the competition process for every single niche and subgenre on Amazon. And I show you what's working best in these different markets, right? So for children's books, children's picture books, having print books, we talk about, why that market sells so many more print books than ebooks and how you can take advantage of those trends and so forth. So just things that you wouldn't know unless you've been publishing in those markets for years, you're going to learn those detailed niche analysis and genre analysis videos. And you're also going to get our bonus trainings on getting Amazon to list your book in extra special Kindle keyword categories and short reads categories. So there's actually bonus categories you can get listed in. So you can actually have Amazon list your book in as many as 18 or 20 different categories. And so in those bonus videos, we show you exactly how to do that. So if you're ready to get started, just go to tckpublishing.com/John, and you can go ahead and sign up and get started with Bestseller Ranking Pro. All right, there's even more. I've got a couple bonuses to share with you real quick, and then we're going to get into the Q&A. So bonus number 1 is you can get the email marketing mastery video training course when you sign up today. Basically, if you don't have an email list yet, you need one. It's like the number 1 marketing asset you're going to have as an author. This course, I show you not just how to set up your email marketing the right way the first time. I'll also show you how to build your author website. So if you don't have an author website yet, I'll show you how to do that for free. And I'll also show you how to set up your email marketing campaign and get your first 1,000 email subscribers really, really quickly. So you can make every single book launch you do so much more successful. And you can also take advantage of those author newsletter swaps where you can get hundreds or thousands of book sales in a single day without spending a dime on marketing. So once you get to that point, that's when your business just takes off and grows exponentially. And so you're not spending more money, or not only not spending a lot more time, but you're getting much better results every time you launch a book, or every time you have someone else promote your book for you. Fast action bonus number 2, you can get our members only Q&A sessions with me. And that's where basically we have so many advanced publishers and advanced students in this program that we started to get tons of questions all over the map, from everything from how do you get library distribution to how do you get foreign language rights deals to just all kinds of advanced publishing stuff. Didn't really fit with the core theme of this program, but I wanted to make sure that my students had access to all the information they needed to really be successful. And so in these advanced Q&A sessions, I take all these complicated, complex, advanced questions and break it down to the simple, exactly, here's how it works, here's what to do, here's your next steps to make this work for you. So you get detailed research information on some really advanced publishing topics that no one else out there is actually teaching, because no one else is really doing this stuff. And you're also going to get access to all the recorded Q&A sessions as well. And if you guys have any questions, of course, our support team and I will answer all your questions as well. So, anytime you're stuck, you don't have to stay that way, just ask us and we'll make sure you get unstuck right away. Now, fast action bonus number 3 is you're going to get a top 6 interviews with best-selling authors. So you're going to hear from an author who sold more than 2 million self-published novels. He actually turned down a 7-figure, multi-million-dollar book deal because he said, and I quote in the interview, "I can make more money self-publishing than a traditional publisher could ever pay me." You're also going to hear from a New York Times bestselling novelist who self-publishes, and she was actually brand new as an author. She had been an author for like a year when she became a New York Times bestselling author as a self-published author, and she did it with this really cool strategy of working with other authors in her niche and her genre. It was a romance author, and she did incredibly well. And you can actually model that exact strategy to take whatever your book you're writing and whatever market you're in and just blow up your sales really, really fast by working together with other authors instead of trying to compete against them. You're also going to hear from an average guy who got 40,000 free downloads for his first book launch, and it launched him to being one of the leaders in his field in this really crazy, weird health niche. And it was amazing. I mean, it kind of launched his career in that field and took his business to a whole new level. So you're going to hear some really cool strategies for actually getting tons and tons of free downloads for your books as well. So if you're ready to get started, just go to tskpublishing.com/John. So normally lifetime access to Bestseller Ranking Pro is $297. So if you go on the website, that's the price. We're actually going to raise the price pretty soon. I'm still working with my business partner on figuring that out, but really soon we're going to be raising the price to like $997 because of all the cool new advanced tools we've added and we're still adding. We're also working on adding some amazing new data. So you'll actually see not just how many sales each book in your market is selling, but actually how many sales are total in that market. So like if you are in a crime thrillers, you'll see exactly how many sales all the crime thriller ebooks are selling on Amazon this month, exactly how many sales all the print crime thriller books are selling this month. So you can do like the most amazing market research you can't do anywhere else with it. So we're adding all these really cool new features. That's why the price will be going up. But today, the special webinar offer just for you folks who showed up today and for John's audience is $197 for Bestseller Ranking Pro. That's lifetime access. It's not like an ongoing fee. There's no monthly fees or anything like that. It's a one-time payment, $197. You have lifetime access to Bestseller Ranking Pro, plus all 3 of the special bonuses as well. So that's tskpublishing.com/John to get started. We also have a 30-day no questions asked guarantee. If you're not absolutely thrilled with Bestseller Ranking Pro, and I have no idea why you wouldn't be because it's amazing, but if you aren't, just ask for a full 100% money back refund anytime within 30 days, and we'll get you your money back. I want to make sure you're happy and you're thrilled with it. If it's not working for you, it's no problem at all. We can part ways and still be friends. Okay, so real quick, final summary. Normally it's $297. We're raising the price very soon as my business partner and I agree on that. Today you can get the special offer. Special discount for only $197 one-time investment. You're going to get lifetime access to Bestseller Ranking Pro, lifetime updates automatically. There's no downloads required. So I don't know if you ever have bought software before, but you have to like download it, and every time you open it, it asks you to update it, and it slows your computer down. It's just a huge pain in the butt. This is nothing like that. All you do is you log into the website, and you have immediately access to the tools. We update all of the tools on our server, so you don't have to wait for any updates. It happens automatically. You just log in when you need access, and you get immediate access all the time. You also can get the Email Marketing Mastery video training course. You're going to get the Bestseller Ranking Pro Q&A sessions, the top 6 interviews with best-selling authors, lifetime access to our members-only Facebook group, and you're going to get our advanced trainings and bonus trainings on getting Amazon to add your book into as many as 18 or 20 different categories for even more exposure and distribution. So I highly recommend go to tskpublishing.com/John. Take advantage of this special offer right now, and I'm looking forward to you guys' questions. So like throw them at me. Let's go through all the questions now, and I'll do my best to help.
Thanks, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just taking a good water break.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you for a fantastic presentation. Some really, really good stuff there. Also, well done for on your voice getting through the whole thing, because I know you had a cold. So it's tough doing a webinar and being the only person speaking at the best of times. So especially well done for getting through it with getting over a cold at the same time.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we have the best question I've ever been asked on a webinar. Barbara Hunt says, "Is it legal?" I love that.
Yeah,
absolutely, it's legal. I'm not really sure which aspect you're talking about, but the software is totally legal. It's in line with Amazon's terms. We do work closely with Amazon, and so we're not doing anything funny. We're not gaming the system. And actually, Amazon wants you to have good information about picking the right categories for your books, because I mean, it really is, for Amazon, it's just like a bookstore, right? Except instead of walking to a physical location, you go log in on your iPhone or your iPad or your computer to browse their store, and they want to make sure that the right books are listed in the right categories. And so when you get to the kind of the scammy stuff that some folks are doing, like, they'll have a cookbook and it's #1 in, the cancer category or something like completely unrelated to what the book is about. So that's when you kind of get in the gray area. But everything we do at Best Selling Pro is totally legal and legitimate. And everything we teach is really legitimate strategies to actually get your book in front of your ideal readers. And that's exactly what Amazon wants to do, because Amazon wants to get your book in front of your ideal readers and not show it to folks who aren't going to be interested, right? So I hope that makes sense, Barbara. Okay, so Diane asked, our publishing company has 2 equal partners would both get access to the website. Yes, so when you buy Bestseller Ranking Pro, you're going to get 2 logins. So actually you get 1 login. But how it works is you're going to have 2 people logged in, and that's the max, right? So if you have more people than that login, it's going to block your account. But if it's just you and one other person, like you and a spouse or you and a partner, you can both log in with the same access, and it's no problem. So you don't have to buy it twice. You just buy it once for you and your partner. Okay, and Barbara asked, does the email marketing mastery video course include setting up MailChimp and automated email series? And yes, it absolutely does. Yep, that's exactly what's included in there. Cool. And someone asked, not sure how to say your name, but do you still provide marketing services for authors? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. So, like, we do have a publishing company, so like, we provide marketing services for our clients. If we decide to publish your book, we accept about 5% of submissions. So, you can go to tckpublishing.com and check out our submissions policy, but we don't like sell marketing services. I do like one-on-one coaching sometimes, but I charge $1,000 an hour to start for coaching and consulting. So for most folks, like, you're going to get a much more return for your money, like getting Bestseller Ranking Pro or taking one of my courses, where you can get a whole lot more information that I can share with you in a single hour for a lot less of a price. Okay, and someone asked about the checkout page. So, like, what is Book Launch Builder? So let me show you that real quick. So when you go to the checkout page, you'll see here, this is the Get Lifetime Access to Bestseller Ranking Pro for $197, like we just talked about. And this, I didn't have a lot of time to talk about, but this is, so you can get all that. You can get everything we talked about today on the webinar. Plus, you can get early access to our new Book Launch Builder program. And what that is it's like a step-by-step training program on how to actually do your book launch. And so we walk you through every single high-end marketing strategy that we use at TCK Publishing when we launch a book for our client. And so it's like super high-level stuff that really almost no one else in self-publishing is doing. Actually, I don't know anyone else in self-publishing is doing a lot of the marketing stuff that we're doing, from like split testing your book covers to using AdWords and pay-per-click campaigns and BookBub ads and all kinds of other really cool, and I'm not saying not BookBub promotions, but actually BookBub pay-per-click ads, and those kind of advanced things that you can do to sell a ton of books really, really quickly when you launch on Amazon. So, if you are someone who wants to do multiple book launches, or if you have a marketing budget to invest in a book launch, it's kind of a no-brainer, because it's going to give you the best return on your marketing dollars by far, of walking through, here's everything that you can do to promote your book, to launch it, and here's what it costs to do this way, here's what it costs to do this way. Some of them are free, some of them cost some money to use, but it's basically our entire checklist when we launch a book for a client. That's what we do. And so the main thing you'll get in that course is like kind of the whole thing boiled down to a nutshell is like a big giant checklist of every single thing you can do to market your book when you do your book launch. And then each of the videos walks you through, okay, here's how you do this step and that step and that step. So that's kind of what Book Launch Builder is in a nutshell. And it's still like a beta program for us. So we're still completing some of the final lectures in that course. But the checklist is already there, and it's really awesome. I think you guys are going to love that. Cool. So I know we had some tech issues today, so we didn't have a ton of people live on the webinar. But if you guys have any other final questions, I'm more than happy to stick around and answer them.
There was one question, Tom, from NA who's left, but it might be useful to other people, which is, do I need to be an Amazon seller to publish on Amazon.com? So I mentioned KDP in the comments, but maybe you want to just explain how that works.
Yeah, no. So an Amazon seller is someone who sells physical products on Amazon. So it's totally different from selling books. So you can actually sell print books as an Amazon seller, but I really don't recommend it because you're going to make less profit that way. So yeah, for Kindle books, you can just go to kdp.amazon.com and to get started to upload your first Kindle ebook to Amazon. For for print books, the most profitable way to sell a physical book on Amazon is with CreateSpace, createspace.com, which is owned by Amazon. And there you can upload all your files and publish a paperback book with print on demand. And so print on demand means that, you know, your book is listed on Amazon. It's always available for sale 24/7. If someone goes onto Amazon and clicks buy your paperback book for $20, Amazon will print that book the same day and ship it out to the customer the same day, and they'll pay you royalties on that book. So if you sell like a $20 book, usually you make anywhere from $4 to $10 per sale based on, you know, the cost to print your book, like how long it is essentially. So you don't need to be an Amazon seller. Those are the two fastest ways to actually sell your books on Amazon. And then if you're going to sell audiobooks, you can go to acx.com, which is also owned by Amazon. acx.com is where you would go to self-publish an audiobook on Amazon.
Yeah, and I haven't checked this recently, Tom, but it used to be the case, I think, that basically if you've got an Amazon account, you've got a KDP account. It's just, you just log in, just go to the KDP address and log in with your regular Amazon details.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all you need to do, and then you just also need to add your bank account information so you actually get paid.
That's right. Yeah, there's a couple of things to do once you're in there, but yeah, they've, you know, Amazon make it as easy as they possibly can because they, you know, they want to get your content on there.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to be the 800-pound gorilla in the ebook marketing space.
Absolutely.
Which they are.
Yeah, and then also for physical books too, I think a lot of folks don't realize that, like in the US, more than 50%, it's almost 60% now, of every single physical book sold or purchased in the United States, over half of them are purchased online. Right? So even if you're selling a physical book and you have distribution in every bookstore, you're still going to sell more copies online on Amazon.com than you would in every single bookstore across the United States, because that's where most folks are buying books these days.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this, Tom, but well, again, worth mentioning for everybody's benefit, there's a website called Author Earnings that track the whole ebook self-publishing market, and their figures from February this year show that for self-published authors, 75% of their sales are going through Amazon. You know, there's obviously lots of platforms, 75% going through Amazon. So because there's this, you know, debate, this question that sort of rumbles on about how important Amazon is. Well, you know, 3/4 of all ebook sales are going through Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's really amazing. And that's why I recommend, you know, focusing on Amazon, getting distribution on Amazon, because once you master this, everything else is easy, right? I mean, it's like the 80-20 rule. You know, 80% of your sales are going to come from Amazon at least for your ebook, for your print book. Yeah, and now for your audiobook, it's 95% on Audible, which is owned by Amazon as well. So, you know, 80% plus of your income as an author is going to come from Amazon. So it really makes sense to get the best distribution on Amazon in their store, right? You know, a lot of publishers they actually pay like thousands and thousands of dollars for premium placement in bookstores like Barnes and Nobles or Target or Walmart. And as a self-published author, you can get premium distribution for free on Amazon. All you have to do is you have to do your research and do your homework and make sure your book is listed in the right categories. But that's how you get that premium distribution for free. And you can outcompete the big publishers because most of them don't even know about this stuff yet. I mean, they're so far behind the curve on getting their books listed in the right categories on Amazon. Okay, awesome. So we have a couple more questions. Barbara said, what do you recommend about printing physical books, print on demand or BookBaby? So I highly recommend CreateSpace. And the reason is because you're going to make more money that way, just period. there is no way you can make more money selling a physical book on Amazon than with CreateSpace, because CreateSpace is owned by Amazon, and so they just make you a better deal than anyone else is going to make you. It's also print on demand, which is great for so many reasons, because number one, you don't have inventory, which means you don't have to invest anything. So if you want to print 1,000 books from a printer, it means you have to pay 1,000 times whatever the cost to print your book is, which is usually minimum for only 1,000 copies. It's going to be usually like at least $3 to $5 or $6 or $7. So you're spending $3,000 to $7,000 for 1,000 books, and then that's just the cost of print them. Then you have to pay the cost of shipping all those books into a warehouse. Then you have to store them in a warehouse. Then you have to fulfill orders, which means every time someone orders your book, you have to go and either have a system that you build or a system that you pay for, or have someone there who takes the orders from the warehouse and picks the book off the shelf and puts it in an envelope and pays for postage and sends it to the customer. And it's just a nightmare. It's a headache. So like, why would you want to deal with that when you can just go to CreateSpace, have them do all that work for you, and they'll pay you more money than you would make if you had your own warehouse, right? So that's why I recommend CreateSpace for everyone. Yeah. And then if you have like a big book where you got big distribution, you're getting distribution to the libraries, you're getting distribution to bookstores, you're really doing a big push. Then you might want to do something like Ingram Lightning Source to get kind of a better rate and better distribution into bookstores and libraries. But everyone should start with CreateSpace for sure, because again, 80-20 rule, 80% of your sales are going to come from Amazon, give or take. And so you're going to make most of your profits that way for sure with CreateSpace. And so like if you've got a book on CreateSpace and you're selling less than 200 to 500 copies per month, I wouldn't even consider doing a print run or any kind of other printer, because you're going to lose money, right? Like if you run the numbers, there's no way you're going to make more money by printing books if you're selling less than 500 copies a month on CreateSpace.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing with CreateSpace, when somebody orders your book and Amazon prints it, it goes out through the Amazon distribution system, and they have the best logistics, the best distribution and delivery of any company in the world. So, your book gets to your customer fast, they're happy. And that's what we want, happy customers. So it's another bonus of doing it through CreateSpace as opposed to some other, book publisher.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing too, a lot of folks don't know, is that if you have extended distribution with CreateSpace, they actually distribute through Ingram, right? So that means you're distributed to every library and every bookstore that can order your book through CreateSpace through Ingram. So they'll actually do that for you. And so actually, if you want to set up your own Ingram account or Lightning Source account, I think it's like $500 just to setup fee. So $500 just to set it up, just to open an account with them. And so, with CreateSpace, there's no fee to do that. So it just makes so much more sense. So Martha asked, do you have any additional advice for how to identify target readers? And her target readers, I think, are non-scientists interested in physics. So that's a really good question. So there's a lot you can, there's a lot you can do to identify target readers. Number one is reading the reviews on Amazon. Like that really is going to blow your mind how much you're going to learn so quickly about your readers. And that's going to get you really in the head of who your reader is and what they want, right? Then you want to find out, okay, where do these people hang out? So once you've gone through that process, then you're going to have a better idea who they are, and you're going to know kind of who these folks are, right? Like they're probably college educated, I'm guessing, based on the topic. That they probably read a lot of other books. They probably read a lot of other, science related books. Like I read a ton of books about science. I'm not a scientist, but I read a ton of books about science because it's really interesting to me. So you're going to find out who the readers are by reading their reviews, and then you can find out where they hang out online, right? So then you can look up for forums for people talking about science. Like I know Reddit has several huge threads on Reddit about science, right? So that might be a good place. And you can actually go in those forums and you can write something like, hey guys, I'm working on a book on XXX topic on physics. I'm just wondering and trying to do some research now. What are the number 1, 2, 3, 5 questions you guys have about XX topic? And that'll give you amazing feedback from your exact audience on what they want, what their questions are, and you'll get to find out more about them and engage with them, and actually build up a following that way too. So using like Reddit and different forums can be a great way, once you've gone through the reviews and you actually understand exactly who your readers are, to actually go ahead and reach out and find them. There's all kinds of other things you can do. Like, you can find bloggers who blog about those topics. You can find YouTubers who make videos about science. Like there's a ton of those. Instagrammers who post photos about science. Like there's all kinds of ways you can find folks online who are passionate about what you're passionate about, and then get connected with those people. And like if you had someone create like a video review, like a top science YouTuber create a video review of your book, I mean, you'd sell tons of books. If you had, same thing if someone did an Instagram post who has a big following on Instagram, or one of the forum moderators in the Reddit Ask Science one, right? Like just building those relationships can help you sell thousands and thousands of books for free, and also help you identify who your target readers are and actually engage the target readers. So I hope that helps, Martha. Barbara asks, can you get a bulk amount from CreateSpace? No, there's no bulk sales from CreateSpace. So the cost to print one book with CreateSpace is the same to print 10,000 books. So again, I mean, you can compare the cost to print however many books you're considering printing with CreateSpace versus with any other printer. And I guarantee you, if you run all the numbers and the cost of fulfillment and shipping and warehousing and all that stuff, you will never find a better deal in CreateSpace. Like to give you an example, so we've got a book that's listed for $20 and on Amazon on CreateSpace, selling about 1,000 print copies per month. And Amazon is constantly discounting the book to $14.99. So even though the list price is $20, they're selling it for $15. They pay us royalties as if it was sold for $20. They pay us over $8 in royalties every time we sell a book, and we have no cost and no overhead. So we make $8 profit every time we sell a book. So that's like $8,000 a month plus that we make each month. And so if we had to print 1,000 copies, let's say we wanted to print 5,000 copies, we've run the numbers for the quotes from the printers, the shipping, warehousing, fulfillment. Like there's no way we can even get close to $8 profit per copy. Like maybe we could do like 4.5 or 5, but there's no way we can do 8, right? And that's investing tens of thousands of dollars in inventory, which is like, why would we do that if we're not making more money? So you're welcome to run the numbers yourself, but I don't think you'll ever find a place where you're going to make more money printing copies unless you get into the range of printing 20,000 or so, that kind of print run size. And at that point, you're looking at a huge investment with huge overhead. Do you control your own price on Amazon? Absolutely. So for ebooks and print books, you can control your own price. You can price it at whatever you want. For audiobooks, you do not control the price. Audible controls the price of digital audiobooks, and they're going to price it based on the length of your book. So shorter books are going to be priced less. Books that are longer are going to be priced more, and it's all determined by Audible's algorithm. So I hope that helps. All right, I think that's all the questions I see. Thank you guys for your great questions, and thank you, John, for hosting me today. I really appreciate it. And if you guys are ready to get started with Bestseller Ranking Pro, just go to tskpublishing.com/John, and I'm excited to work with you. Oh, by the way, this offer is only available until this coming Sunday at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So this special discount and all the bonuses are only available till then at midnight Pacific Standard Time. And also on the bottom of the slide here on the screen, you'll see the link to download the copy of the Book Marketing Bible. So down here is tskpublishing.com/webbonus3 if you want to download the free copy of that book. Awesome. Any last comments or questions, John?
I don't think so. I think we picked up everything that was in the chat as far as I can see. I don't think we missed anything. So yeah, just once again, I want to say a big thank you. Thanks to everybody for being on the webinar, and thank you for your questions. And Tom, thank you again for coming on and sharing your presentation with us and giving us some really great information.
Yeah, well, thank you, John. It's been a pleasure, and it's always great working with you and seeing what you're up to and the great information you're sharing. And your audience is amazing. I love everyone who's passionate about writing and publishing books, and so I was really excited to meet everyone today. And is there anything else I can do to help? Just let me know. I'm here. I'm in touch. You should get an email from me afterwards with the webinar replay and everything. You guys have any questions? I'm available. Just let me know.
Great stuff. Yeah, and we'll get the replay out. It's I'll get a link out tomorrow to people. It's 8:30 in the evening here. But again, thanks again, Tom. Great webinar.
All right, thank you, John. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye-bye.